Alright, welcome back. So now in this video, I'll be talking about divs and spans. Divs and spans. In the last video, I mentioned briefly about divs and spans, just briefly. But then let me first remove all this old thing I have here. Alright, so what exactly is a div and what exactly is a span? I'll start with what a span is. A span is an element that is used to should I say single out a particular maybe group of words, so to say. It's used to single out a particular group of words. So we're going to have, first of all, let's have a paragraph. Inside the paragraph, we'll have a lorem ipsum text. Lorem times 2, let's have, or times 3, let's have this 3 of it. Now, presently, this is what we have. I save VS Code auto format for me. Alright, so this is what we have currently. This is what we have. Now, let's assume this particular word here, I want to do something different to it. This particular, just this whatever from year to year, I want to do something unusual to it. I want to, it can be anything. I want to change its color. I want to give it a different color. Just this part. I want to increase, I want to make the font size here bigger than every other thing. I want to give it a background using CSS too. Although I could just do that with an, using my HTML. So let's just say you want to just style something differently, just this segment. Inside this whole paragraph, how do you do that? That is where span comes in. So this is the word concern whatever this is. I have my span open and the closing tag, I wrap it around. Oh my, what have I done? Okay. All right, so this is where it ends and I paste it. So I've wrapped my span element around this word. I want to style this particular word. So whatever I do, for instance, now to this span affects only this word. In this case, I could do something like, let me just do a little of CSS inline style, which it's not very advisable to do. Let me set the color, or let me give you the background color now. For instance, background color of aquamarine. Now look at what happens to that particular span. Can you see? I'm sure you've probably seen this in text. Maybe you want to highlight something, you want to make it special, you want to highlight a particular text, you want to make it different, you want something unusual to be done to it. You first of all wrap that word or whatever it is, that piece of text, you wrap it around the span, and then inside the span, by the way, it's not only text you can wrap inside the span, you can wrap other things inside the span if you want, especially when you have more of that thing and you just want to single a portion of that element out. So in this case now we have a text, we have much text here, but I want to just single out this line and then to add some special style, some effects to it. That is how to go about it. You just wrap it in a span. Now I could do something else, font size 3, save. I could do so many things to it. Now can you see what I have? I made only this text very bigger. That is done using CSS styles anyway, which you should not bother about. But the point is just understand that there's what we call span, and it's used to single out a piece of text or a piece of elements, a portion, so that you can probably add some special styles. So that's span. So whatever style you add to it affects the whole text inside the span. So that is an example of a span. Let me return this back to default. Now I'm going to talking about divs. What divs are? Divs are, we can call them we can call it a divider. It is used to divide a page into segments. So I'm going to just show us a live example from a page now. All right, so here we are on Coursera.org. Now this is their own page. This whole place like this now is wrapped. I'm sure it's probably wrapped in a div. A div is like, okay, more like, it works like section. It's just like this whole place. Let me divide this page into segments. This first part now is a div. Everything here, we have an H1, we have 2 buttons, we have an image, we have a paragraph. Every of them is wrapped inside a div. If you scroll down again, this is another portion. This portion might also be another div. You scroll down further, this portion might also be another div. And then you can see, oh, what have I done? Okay. All right, now you can see this place. It even has a border. You can see that it has a border round about it. You can see this border. This also can be a div on its own. So that is what div does. We use it to wrap things and separate, to divide the page into segments. So let's see if we can just do something simple. And like I said earlier on, a div is also a block level element. It takes up its space alone. So inside this div now, I can probably have I can choose to have an h2 special div. I have an h2 inside that div. I can have a paragraph as well, lorem ipsum text. What else? I can have a few more things. Let's put an image. You can have an image there. You can have so many things actually. Image with our src set to, oh my, this is always stressful because of the fact that I have to adjust the width and height actually. Width of 400 or 500 or whatever that was, and then height of 500 pixels. We can have so many things. We can have a list. We can have another list inside of it with LIs, list 1, and another LI, list 2. And then I can actually still choose, after this UL, I can choose to have an anchor tag. I think these are the things we talked about. Click me, and href set to nothing in particular, href hash. Now I've put everything here. Let me save. VS Code format it. Can you see everything is wrapped inside a div? Everything now is wrapped inside a div. When I save, right, let's look at what it looks like on the page. Can you see this is the div, special div? There's a paragraph text, and there is the image, and there is this item is a link to show you that it is really what it is. I can actually add a little of CSS to show you that it is really a special part of the page. Let me add border so that you can see it clearly. 5 pixels solid. Don't bother about all of this style I'm writing. It's just a CSS, a CSS style. So I'm just adding it just so you can actually see demarcation. So add a demarcation to the div. Now, can you see the div? I added a border around about it. Can you see? So inside of it, you can actually do so many things. So many things. Let me show us again one live example. Okay, so here we are. I believe I showed us this earlier on. Now, this all it's not much actually. It's just a very short, home page. But this page now, for instance, can be divided into segments. So all this upper part, if you notice, this part is all these upper images. They are all alike. They are different from what we have down here. So you can actually wrap all these whole upper parts into a div. You can wrap it into a div, and inside that div, you can actually have smaller divs. This div, one div will contain this image, this text, all these guys here. Another div will contain the same thing, similar divs, identical divs. Now, putting 6 of them together, all of them can also be put inside one big div. So one parent div can have all these 6 smaller divs nested. So that is just what divs are actually about. You will not really understand them for now until maybe you get to a CSS class, an advanced class. That's when you know and understand, the importance of divs and how they are used. So I just wanted to just explain briefly what divs and navs are. And don't forget divs and spans rather. Divs are block level elements, like we said, while spans are inline elements. See you in the next video.